Whoa, it's Jeff J in Tampa Bay, where it's sunny and warm and never the norm. Man, so my first AC compressor job on a vehicle, replacing the line set. So these things are really difficult to remove. See how there's a spring there? So, you know, I've been doing this with no training, but there's this tool that you're supposed to use, and so it goes around the pipe on the other side. So as you can see, you know, this end theoretically is supposed to push against the spring, so when you grab around the pipe, see how it fits in there. But it's easier said than done because it's on a thick pipe, and so the only thing I could think of to get in there is I cut off some hose clamp. And so if you go, so see how it's flared out right there? So I had to put this, I had to cut it, right? So I had to cut this hose clamp, but see, it had to get around this flare fitting somehow. And so what I did is I kind of had to get this tool around. This is so hard to do with one hand. I had to get this around and then push this in with this tool to get it out. I mean, it was difficult. All the other ones weren't as hard. I don't know why. I had to reach in there. Maybe it's the leverage. I got that off, and there's going to be another video on how I got these bolts out of the compressor. It was kind of a challenge too, later. All right, so first mistake, I installed this. I was getting too gung-ho. I want to copy the bends on the old one, and this old one is all one piece. This is two pieces, so kind of makes things a little bit more complicated. I have to screw in with the fitting right there, so all right, so this is the Four Seasons compressor, accumulator, and line set replacement kit for a 1996 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo straight 6 4-liter. So this is the new one, this is the old one. So I made a mistake and installed the new one first, but what you want to do is copy the pipe bend pattern because it's not identical. You have to be really careful that you don't kink the lines if you don't have a pipe bender, which I don't have. I have to, so this is the best that I could do for the first half, and then the other disadvantage is that this is two pieces, so now I got to copy this one too. I think it's almost neck and neck, but that first one, the one that goes into the wall, is the most difficult, and you have to be very careful not to kink, because even this old line set, I mean, look at that. But it still worked. The AC worked, but by AC standards, that's cutting it real close to kinking the line. Later. All right, a couple notes on the compressor changeout. I was able to lubricate the bolts to get them off, you know, in these little gaps here. I was able to reach around while it was mounted. You know, see that? See that? But I didn't have the benefit of that there. I broke the bolt. Probably should have let it set in longer, maybe used better creeping oil. Then the other issue was the replacement compressor does not come with the AC manifold. So these little hexers, you know, this is an old 1996 car. These things are screwed. So I got two out and I stripped two out. Couldn't get them, and the way the manifold's set up, it's hard to get. There's like no space to work with. So I had to cut through and cut the bolts out with a cutting wheel and a saw. But I got it out, and I was able to remove the manifold and put it on the new compressor. And yeah, and so what I did is I used the anti-seize on the bolts, so that way they're not so hard to take out. I was able to get some new bolts here for the so this is the manifold I was talking about. I was able to get some replacement screws pretty easily, actually, right there. So I got all four, I torqued them down. What else? That trying to think of any snags. That was a big snag right there. That was a big snag. Yeah, and then just fitting this pipe, bending it before installing it, bend this pipe to the old pipe, try to copy it before installing anything. That was about it. And then I have another vid that I'm going to attach this on how to, these were tough to get off, man. I've never seen these before, but these just push right off. You can push them right off, these things holding the pipe in. I do not know where the hell this thing went. I'm gonna have to look into that. First time doing it. I'm not a mechanic, don't hold myself out to be one, so any of you haters out there, eat a bag of dicks. Anyway, so that's about it. Can't think of any other snags really. Oh, I had to take this alternator out to get this pipe out, because yeah, I had to take the alternator out. And yeah, because the only way I could get that, and I like the clamshell one, so I used this. But what I did is I had to put this around the pipe and get it to hit the spring, and then I clamped around basically the end of this right here. I clamped the clamshell around it and pushed it in to get the compression fitting off, the spring fitting off. Yeah, difficult job, first time. No guidance, no training. I'm taking it to a shop to have them evacuate it and charge it. That's about it. You know, they evacuated it when I got rid of the refrigerant here, so they're going to charge it up when I go back. Yeah, and the other issue is the old pipe is one piece, and then this is two pieces. So yeah, so I copied that. That's about it. No other snags I can think of. I think that those were big snags though. And the mechanics say, so yeah, that bolt is stuck, is cut off in there. The mechanics say there's enough integrity with these 3 bolts as long as they're torqued down good. I mean, when I move this, I'm moving the whole car. I don't see this belt torquing this compressor off the block. Oh yeah, and you know, basic common sense stuff. When you disconnect the alternator, make sure you disconnect the battery so you don't shock yourself shitless. You know, or fry the alternator. Those are about the only snags that I can think of right now. Later. Yeah, one more snag. So I had to take the old connector off the old compressor, because the Four Seasons compressor, the pin that's in there is too long, and you can't get a bite on it to where this locks in, unless you got in there with some special, I don't know, it was hard. I just felt easier to butt connector the old one to the new one. So, you know, of course, cut with as much length as possible off the old one. And then so yeah, that was the other snag. That's it.